Bill, I really want to talk about the broader fabric. We see the U6 number come into 7.9%. Are we at a point where the financial crisis and the labor crisis of that disaster is behind us?
Well, I think so. To the extent that we've got a little room to lower if a crisis appears over the horizon, to the extent that quantitative easing might come back. I think we've got some ammunition. And in fact, we do, Tom, have a decently, as economists would call it, robust economy with growth at 3% plus, at least for the last 2 quarters, despite these rather disappointing employment numbers. So I think we're past the crisis, certainly in most of the world, most of the developed world, but we have a potential crisis, I think, in Asia and in China going forward.
You were more than generous to be with us here on Fed Day. I did ask you about Jerome Powell. I'll be nice, Bill. Maybe it's because the San Francisco 49ers are doing so poorly this year, but you weren't polite about it. You didn't mince words. We thank you for that, about the next chairman of the Fed. You heard him speak yesterday. How can economists assist Jerome Powell to a better Fed?
Well, I think a certain kind of economist can assist Jerome Powell, and that depends, of course, on the appointments going forward. Trump's got 3 and certainly 4, I think, as Janet Yellen probably will resign as Fed chairman and chairwomen do in tradition. And so he's got 4 appointments going forward. He can pack the court, so to speak, just like FDR. And it depends on his appointments going forward, whether they're doves or hawks, and I presume that they'll be doves. And so what can we learn from that when they're appointed? Potentially we can learn, in my view at least, that there are subjective factors, longer-term structural factors, such as demographics at play, such as technology advancement and displacement of labor at play, and ongoing globalization. So we can learn from those things as opposed to the old-fashioned models,
right,
such as the Taylor rule and others and the Phillips curve that have been failing us for the past 10, 15, 20 years. I hope he appoints someone with a more subjective as opposed to a model-driven view.